Hi, everyone. I'm Angie Primavera, Curriculum Specialist here at the Google Children's Centers. And when I was thinking about a phrase that could describe our next guest, what kept coming to mind was the power of connection. For anyone who's been to a Michael Franti show, you know that he has a way of reaching out to each and every member of the audience. For over 20 years, Michael has found a way to connect not only with his musical fans, but people around the globe. Whether it's bridging a conversation using just his guitar, as documented in his film, I Know I'm Not Alone, or utilizing technology to connect to his fans in Franti TV, or even his Power to the Peaceful festivals right here in the Bay Area, Michael Franti embraces the power of connection. More recently, he's used his poetic abilities to connect with our newest generation of environmental stewards in his children's book, Where in the World is Away? In partnership with Talks at Google, Google Play, and the Google Children's Center's Parent Education Series, I'm honored to offer Googlers this opportunity to connect once again with Michael Franti.
How's it going, y'all? How you feeling? All right. Well, I was really excited to come to Google today because, there's this urban myth about Google, which is can you push that in for me, Jay? That I believed up until about 15 minutes ago, which is that when you type in something on Google, there's this giant room full of like 1,000 people in lab coats. And they see what you typed in, like Roberto Clemente's batting average in 1967. And then a guy gets up and he runs down this corridor to this shelf full of books and encyclopedias, and he pulls it out and he thumbs through it, and then he slams it shut, and then he runs back and he types in 323. And I found out that it's not actually true. So maybe it should be a Mythbuster. But it is true that kids love music, right? Make noise, kids! I love this kid with the sunglasses. So let's play some music. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Kids, put your hands together. There you go. Moms and dads, how you feeling? Other Googlers, how you feeling? Here we go. I wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock. They say there may be rain, but the sun is hot. I wish I had some time just to kill today, and I wish I had a dime for every bill I got to pay. Some days you lose, you win, and the water's as high as the times you're in. So I jump back into where I learned to swim. Try to keep my head above it the best I can. That's why here I am, waiting for this storm to pass me by. Let me hear you sing this. That's the sound of sunshine coming down, coming down. That's the sound of sunshine coming down, down, down. Hey, 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 hey. 1, 2, put your hands together. I saw my friend Bobby, he said, what's up, man? You got a little work or 20 to lend? I opened up my hand, he said, I'm glad to see they could take away my job, but not my friends, you see. Here I am, waiting for this storm to pass me by. That's the sound of sunshine coming down, coming down. That's the sound of sunshine coming down, coming down. Yo, yo, here we go. I want wanna go where the summer never ends, with my guitar on the beach there with all my friends. The sun's so hot and the waves are motion, and everything smells like suntan lotion. The ocean and the yogurt so sweet. So kick off your shoes and relax your feet. They say that miracles are never ceasing. Every single soul needs a little releasing. Stereo bump it till the sun goes down, and I only wanna hear that sound. That's the sound of sunshine coming down. J Boogie, play that guitar. Come on now. Kids, I want to see your air guitar. Get it going now. There you go. Make some noise. Break it down now. I say you're the one I wanna be with when the sun goes down. You're the one I wanna be with when the sun goes down. You're the one I wanna be with when the sun goes down. You're the one I wanna be. Make some noise. When the sun goes, that's the sound of sunshine coming down, coming down. That's the sound. Okay, kids, I got something for you to do. Okay, ready? What does it look like? Can you do a dance for when I say the word sound? How about that's the sound? Put your hand up by ear. That's the sound of sunshine coming down. All right, you guys got it now. That's the sound, sunshine. I want to hear you sing it now. Ready? That's the sound. One more time now. Real loud, everybody. That's the sound of sunshine coming down. Now, kids, I want to hear you scream. And that's the sound of sunshine coming down. Make some noise! Aya! All right. You having fun? Yay! Awesome. Well, I wrote a book. I wrote two books, actually. This one's called What I Be, and this one's called Where in the World is Away. I'm going to read from this one today because April is a very important month. Do you know why April is an important month? We have a birthday that we celebrate in April every year. You know who was born in April? The Earth! The Earth was, you can Google it. Earth was born in April. And this is a book that's about taking care of our Earth. And it's called Where in the World is Away. And it goes a little something like this. Little Lee and little Lou sat by a lake sharing a bottle of juice. It was a warm, sunny day, and the birds were at play, and they smiled as they watched Mama Goose. As they finished the drink, Lou pulled back his arm and said, "I'm going to throw it away." "Stop, Lou, think, before we make a mistake. Where in the world is away? If we throw it in the lake, it's gone for today, but is that really away? Not for the frogs who hip-hop on the logs, or the fish who jump up in the air, or the little tiny things that live off the greens that grow on the bottom down there. All of our spills just fill up their gills, and it's so hard to breathe without air. They play hide-and-go-seek, and they think school is cool. So we shouldn't make a mess down there. I've got a plan," Lou started to say, "over the hills where I'll throw it away. Not so fast, Lou, if I may say. Is over the hill there really away? What do you kids think? Is that really away? No. That's where the forest grows tall and wide, and all kinds of critters live deep inside. It's cool in the daytime and warm at night, and squirrels do twirls while birds are in flight. There's nuts and there's berries, there's bears and there's fairies, and a butterfly up in a tree. By the light of the moon, they play drums with raccoons as the mice shout, 1, 2, 3. Can I hear you kids say, 1, 2, 3, like mice? Yay! But if the forest has bottles on a hot sunny day, the sun magnifies and might set it ablaze, then all the forest beings would run with affright. We don't want that, Lou. No, you're right. Lou said, let's just throw it here on the street. Someone will come and eventually sweep. But look down below, even up through the cracks. There grows the tiniest blades of green grass. And where there is grass, then grasshoppers be. And where there are grasshoppers, let's let them be. And besides, we all like to keep the street neat, and we don't need glass where there might be bare feet. There's far too much garbage. It's just got to stop. The landfills are filling right up to the top. Then where's a way, said confused little Lou. And what of the bottle when there's no more juice? They spotted a bin with a round symbol on it, a can with the word recycling on it. And inside the can there were hundreds of bottles in all kinds of shapes and colors and models. If we put it in there, will it go away? Sweet little Lou started to say. Lee opened her mouth to say, we'll never know. And just as she did, along came a crow. This crow at her feet was oh so unique, a crow named Mo with a beak that could speak. Good heavens, they shouted, how could this be? The crow said, relax, it's just little old me. If you'd like to know where old bottles should go, close your eyes, spread your wings, and follow this crow. The bottles are picked up by truck and transported to a glass sorting center, where then they are sorted. Green ones go there and brown ones go here. There's places for blue and for yellow and clear. All of the paper and caps are removed, and yes, even those things are recycled too. All of the glass gets crushed into cullet, a word you mightn't heard, but that's what they call it. Then it's thrown into a furnace to heat to a temperature of over 2,000 degrees. And then when it's melted, it glows into goo. And then there are so many things you can do. You can bend it and shape it and pour it into molds, make magical artwork or things to be sold. And when it cools down, it turns hard very fast and quickly returns into shiny, smooth glass. It makes mirrors and lamps and grape jelly jars, even eyeglasses and windows for cars. There's so many things, so many to choose. And yes, you can even make bottles for juice. So always recycle, said Crow with a smile, and reduce what you use every once in a while. When you reach for that bottle high up on the shelf, remember a way is just somewhere else. There's so many choices, said sweet little Lou, but this here bottle we're going to reuse. And they each put a flower in it. The end. Yay! All right, let's play some more music. Guys ready for a song? This one you have to repeat after me, okay? It goes, hello, hello. Bonjour, bonjour. Hola, hola. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa, wa. Say hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Salam, salam.
Salam, salam.
Shalom, shalom. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa, wa. I don't need a passport to walk on this earth. Anywhere I go, cause I was made of this earth. I'm born of this earth. I breathe of this earth. And even with the pain, I believe in this earth. So I wake up every morning, I'm stepping on the floor. I wake up every morning and I'm stepping out the door. I got faith in the sky, faith in the sun, faith in the people rocking underneath the one. Say hello, hello. Bonjour, bonjour. Hola, hola. Konnichiwa. Put your hands together now. Say hello, hello. Say salam, salam. Shalom, shalom. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa. Why? Because every bit of land is a holy land, and every drop of water is a holy water. Every single child is a son or a daughter of the one earth mama, one earth papa. So don't tell a man that he can't come here, cause he got brown eyes and he wavy kind of hair. And don't tell a woman that she can't go there, because she prays a little different to a God up there. You say you're a Christian cause God made you. Say you're a Muslim cause God made you. Say you're a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Jew, and we all love each other cause God told us to. So hello, hello. Bonjour, bonjour. Hola, hola. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa. Wa. Say hello, hello. Salam, salam. Shalom, shalom. Jay, play that guitar. Come on now. Ow! Kids, I want to see you get up and play your guitars. There you go. Say hello, hello. Bonjour, bonjour. Hola, hola. Konnichiwa, konnichiwa, wa. You sound so good, kids. Big kids too. I like that dance you're doing over there. Yeah. All right. So, how many kids here recycle at your house? If you're with your parents, don't embarrass them. You recycle? What do? Tell me how you do it. You put your things your garbage in the recycling bin, and you separate it out like bottles and cans, or do you just put it in one thing? Yeah, awesome. What do? The same thing? What about you? You use the stuff that you don't want, and then they turn it into something else? That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Anybody else? You in the back there. Can you help out, Dad? I couldn't hear. You break the glass into little pieces and make it into something else. I love that. That's fun. All right. Nice. Any other kids? Do you compost? Wow. Can you tell us about that? How about if Mom tells us and you just nod your head?
We put all of our food scraps in a bowl, and then it gets turned into dirt.
Nice. Do you kids know what that is, composting? It's when you take all your food scraps and you put it in a bowl, and then you put it in a place in your garden, and worms eat it, and then the worms poop it out, and it turns into dirt. That's pretty cool. What were you going to say? Nothing? Okay. You? Your sister's magic and turns the recycling into other things. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Well, we were going to just open it up to any questions for any Googlers, too, perhaps, if you have for us about any subject. Doesn't have to be about worms and poop, but it can also be about that if you want.
I'll go ahead and start it off.
Okay, good.
And for those of you on VC, you can add it to the dory at go/Franti, or anybody here can go ahead and step up to the mic. So you found an inspirational way to use your voice to connect with those around you. Is there a message that you have for some of our young children here about the power of their voice?
Well, my message to every kid here is that all of us are different, and being different is beautiful. When you look in your house at something that's like a salad, if you have like tomatoes in there and carrots and greens and sprouts, and what are kinds of things you guys put in your salads? What do you put in your salad at home? Avocado. I love avocado. Tea?
Cheese.
Cheese. Oh, yeah. We love cheese. What? Fruits. Yeah. Yeah, fruits. So the more things that are in the salad, the more beautiful and tasty the salad is. And that's the same thing with people in our world. The more difference that we have and the more diversity, we call it, that we see, that we respect and honor and love and cherish, the better the world is. So that's my message to kids, is same to adults, is be your authentic self. Live your truth. What? Pizza, you put pizza in your salad. Me too. Nice, nice. You put salad in the garbage when it's done. Awesome.
I'll go ahead and ask another one.
Okay, cool.
Feel free to hop up on the mic there. We also have books for those of you that would like to ask a question of Michael. What is something you've learned from fatherhood that you'd like to share with us?
That I'm wrong most of the time. Being a dad, you have to make it up as you go along. I have one son who's 25 and another son who's 14. And I was really young when I had my first son. And so when you have a kid, your first kid, your time that you have to do all the wonderful things in life that you do, like go to parties and hang out at the beach and do all these things, it gets eliminated. And so you have the time with your kids, and then you have just like that 1 hour or 2 hours that you have for yourself every day. And so what I did during that time is I would take care of my son all day, and then I'd put him to sleep, and he would go off with his mom after that in the night, and I'd go to work at night at nightclubs in San Francisco. But I'd have like 1 or 2 hours at home, and I would just write. I had this yellow legal pads of paper that I would write lyrics on. And at first I was like, man, my time is gone. But then it really makes you think about what you want to do. What's the most important thing that you want to do with your time? And for me, it was writing. And so it really helped me to hone in on what I love and what my passion is, and to really do my best during those moments that I had. And my mom she is an amazing woman. She Mrs. Franti adopted me, and she had 3 kids of her own with my father, Charles Franti, and they're Finnish Americans, and they adopted myself, another African American son. So we grew up in this house of a very diverse household. We have one sister who's lesbian, and this is a very mixed household, and. One time I asked my mom, I said, what did you do with us kids? You worked as a school teacher for 35 years, then you come home and deal with us 5 kids. And she said, every day I'd come home, and I had one expectation of all of you, which is that when you went out into our neighborhood, that you treated everybody as good or better than you wanted to be treated at home. And she said, I tried to teach all of you kids and treat all of you kids exactly the same, which meant that if one of us got a lollipop, then all of us had to share it. I'm just kidding. I don't advise that to any parent. But she insisted that we treat every kid in our neighborhood the same. And she said that the greatest gift that any parent could give their children is wings. And that's the wings are the self-confidence that you have, that when you're in whatever precipice in your life that you feel like,
I have the ability to jump off and fly and face whatever it is that this challenge is in my life, and so that's what I try to do with both my sons, and my mom did a really great job of that, I think, with me.
All right, we have a question from the audience.
Hey, thank you for coming out, and we really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
What's the story behind you being barefoot, and how often do you run into a place where you think, no, I'm probably not going to go there?
Well, man, walking onto the Google campus, I was like, ooh, with a name like Google, I don't know if I want to. No, I've been barefoot. It'll be 13 years on my birthday, which is at the end of this month. And I started walking barefoot in countries where kids couldn't afford to wear shoes. And I'd go out and I'd play soccer with them and stuff. And so I would take off my shoes just to, not stomp on their feet or whatever. And I could barely take 3 steps. I was like, ouch, ouch, ouch. So I decided to go home, and for 3 days I was going to go barefoot. You have a question? When did I learn guitar? I learned guitar not too long ago. I've only been playing guitar about 7 or 8 years, actually. Yeah, I started really late. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But so I decided to go barefoot for 3 days, and 3 days turned into a week, and into a month, and into a year. And my son's waving at me back there. He's like, "Dad, your feet are gross." And there is times when I feel like, wow, I it's really gross around here, but I'm just more observant of where I step, and it's funny, you have to wear shoes when you go into the airport, and then you have to take them off when you go through the security, and then you got to put them back on again. Then when you get on the plane, you can take them off again. So I always carry a pair of flip-flops around that are for those kind of moments, and I never do it out of any form of protest. If I'm somewhere and they say, "Please put your shoes on," I always, put my flip-flops on, and that's kind of the story. And when it was the 10th anniversary of me being barefoot, I partnered with this organization called Souls for Souls, and we collect used shoes for kids and families all around the world. It started after Hurricane Katrina. A lot of people left their homes without shoes, and so they started collecting shoes for that. But now we're in Haiti and South America, Africa, all probably places in Asia, all over the world. Oh, so my guitar, I went on this trip to this place called Cuba, and I was there with a group of musicians from around the world who were collaborating with Cuban artists, and we were there singing songs that we'd written together during a week. And so every night, this guitar would get passed around this table, and everybody would sort of sing these wonderful like boleros off into the Cuban Havana moonlit night with bottles of rum and cigars being passed around. And probably should lay off the cigars and rum until you get your first chords down, at least. And so I decided I'm never going to be caught in this situation again where I can't play guitar. And so like a year passed, and I was at this great festival up in Oregon, and the same thing, the guitar got passed to me, and all I could do is go hip hop, a hippie to the hippie to the hip hop, and you don't stop, right? So I decided, golly, I'm gonna learn the guitar. So finally, like another year passed, and I was in another embarrassing situation, and I was up with a friend of mine who's a farmer up in Humboldt County. And I decided this would be the perfect place to sit on his porch for hours and learn my first guitar chords. And I've been playing now about 7, 8 years, and I love it.
Yeah, thanks again for coming here. That it is just terrific to have people like you come visit us. So you've had this amazing career. Musically, you've done incredible range of things, and then outside of music, from the video stuff to writing children's books to just social projects. What are you most proud of, and what do you think is going to have the biggest legacy?
Well, it's the same things, the two same things. I'm most proud of my kids, and I hopefully my kids have the biggest legacy, right? High five, son. There's a lot of things that I've done in music, and the most memorable things are being in places where music is absent most of the time, and then going and bring music there and seeing the environment change immediately. And
You have like such a eclectic career from your activism, social justice, your films to music. What inspired you to jump into children's books of all things? And then I think what you previously just said might explain that already. But
yeah, okay. Well, my favorite artists have been, my favorite artists are Bob Marley, Marvin Gaye, John Lennon, and Johnny Cash. And the reason is because they both, or all of them, were able to write songs about how much they wanted to see the world be a better place, And then they would also write a song right next to it about how much they love their girlfriend, And I've always felt like if you can't do both, or if you're only settled on just doing one of those things, then you're missing so much of what it's about, And so that's why I do the different things, That's why I go to, Iraq and play music on the street and make a film about that, and then write a children's book like this book, the other book that's here, What I Be, which is about being yourself. And the message is the same thing, It's about reaching out to other people and being the person that you are, and then being able to embrace other people for being the person that they are, And my mom used to always tell me, it's not enough. Like, she hated the word tolerance. That was like a buzzword. Like, we need to have tolerance. And there was a museum of tolerance, which is a fantastic place, but she never liked the word tolerance because it was always, like, you tolerate getting your teeth grinded at the dentist, But she liked the words like embrace and to honor and to respect and cherish, because she's always felt like we should be that towards other people, towards other cultures, other walks of life, to really live life and to live a fullness for yourself is to find the beauty in other things that are different than you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you do any Johnny Cash songs at San Quentin? Do some Folsom Prison or Cocaine Blues?
It was funny. Before we went, we also played in Folsom Prison.
Oh, wow.
And we were the first artists playing there in 37 years since Johnny Cash had done it. And when we went in, the warden of the prison required that I send a list of the songs that I was going to sing and all the lyrics. And he went through like line item veto style and said, you can't sing this line, you can't sing this line, and you can't sing this song, you can't sing this song. And at first I was like, man, this is not cool. I'm not going to do this. I'm like, I got a pride, feather sticking out of me, And then I thought, these cats are locked down for a long time, and who am I to not sing or not show up because the warden won't let me sing a song? This is not the protest that I want to make, So to answer your question, no, we weren't allowed to, and no, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
And,
Just Sesame Street.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of other songs besides that, but that's what one of the things that we come across as musicians is like where do we where are our values, and what are the lines that we choose to cross? Are we going to put a song in this movie? Then if we put a song in the movie, are we going to put a song in the commercial that goes along with the movie? And then if that commercial also is a partnership with some brand, do we support that brand? Do we allow the song to be in there? And at the end of the day, I always feel like I'm out there every day of my life on tour, saying the things and expressing the things I can in the best way I can for whatever the situation is. But I'll talk to these kids differently than I would kids in San Quentin, or
What I really wanted to ask, though, was about when you were a kid, what was your favorite books? Or do your kids have any favorites?
Oh, yeah. My favorite books were the Curious George books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Harold and the Purple Crayon. and then all the Roald Dahl books,
Oh yeah.
and especially Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
What about music when you were young? What was the first stuff you listened to, and then on?
The first stuff that I listened to was music that was in my house that my brothers and sisters were playing. So it was Al Green, Jim Croce, Carole King, and then it was The Clash and Parliament Funkadelic and The Police, and then it became like Run DMC. Somewhere in all that was the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, which didn't leave eternity for a long time. Earth, Wind, and Fire. And then once I went through all that stuff, I went straight into hardcore punk rock for many years and just listened exclusively to all the great Bay Area bands, you know, Dead Kennedys and Circle Jerks and all the bands that we're touring through here. Yeah.
All right, we'll take one more from the audience.
Hi, I want to say thanks for coming. Your message that you're sending, it's really positive, and you're doing a great job inspiring children as well as adults.
Thank you.
I'm also an aspiring writer myself. My question goes out to, it's for adults, but also for children. Can you give us some words of advice in overcoming a challenging situation, or whether it's music, writing, or just in life in general?
Well, I think that if you get yourself out of your comfort zone a lot of the time, then it becomes more familiar crossing over those lines where you don't feel comfortable or where you feel scared. You know, I practice yoga, and in our practice of yoga, we put ourselves into uncomfortable positions. We learn how to breathe while we're going through these really intense stretchings, and to quiet our mind and say, like, I'm not gonna listen to this voice that's saying I'm not good enough, or I'm not limber enough, or I'm too tired, or whatever. And we practice that exercise so that when we get into uncomfortable situations in our day-to-day life, they become easier. And they're still not. It's still always hard. But writing a book is something that I never imagined I would do. But I made a 5-year plan at one point, and I said, there's a few things that I want to do. I want to write a book. I want to make a film. I want to start a yoga school. And I wanted to, get my band to a certain level of musicianship and get ourselves out touring at a certain level, and had goals in that regard. And just to write them down, those goals, was really helpful for me. And then I said, I'm not going to prioritize them in terms of what's most important, because they're all really important to me. But I prioritized them in terms of what was most imminent. So in order to become a better musician, I needed to take guitar lessons. So that became in the A pile, and then there was the B pile of things and the C pile of things. So writing stuff down and then creating a priority of, if I'm going to write a book, I got to do this first, and then I got to find an illustrator second, then I got to figure out a way to publish it.
Nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you got another song for us?
Do, yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right. Oh, let's do it. So we need some kids up here. We need some kids up here to dance. Come on up. All right. Are you guys ready? Okay. Any other kids who want to come up here, just feel free to join us. Any of our adults that want to come up, feel free to join us too. Okay, that goes like this. I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back coming around the way. It seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Okay, kids, you ready? Ready to dance? 1, 2, 3, come on now. All right. This one goes out to you and yours. I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back coming around the way. Seem like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. Come on, Dad, I know one thing, that I love you. Baby girl, I love you, I love you, I love you.
lot of places all around the way. I seen a lot of joy and I seen a lot of pain, but I don't wanna write a love song for the world. I just wanna write a song about a boy and a girl. Junkies on the corner always calling my name, and the kids on the corner playing ghetto games. When I saw you getting down, girl, I hope it was you. And when I looked into your eyes, I knew it was true. I said, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back coming around the way. Seem like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you, baby girl. I love you, I love you, I love you. Put your hands up high, rocking in the dance hall, moving with you. Hey mama, close to you, rocking in the dance hall, moving with you. Hey papa, kick up your shoes, rocking in the dance hall, moving with you. Hey mama, close to you, rocking in the dance hall, moving with you. Hey mama, 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 hey mama. Woo! Wanna sing it? It goes like this. I'll teach you how to sing it. It goes. Come over here to the microphone. Ready? It goes. Adults, we need an adult. You young man, get up.
That's right. Come on up here, big boy.
Okay. My mama told me don't lose you.
My mama told me don't lose you. Is that right? Is that right? Cause the best luck I had was you. And I know one thing, that I love you.
Yeah! 1, 2, 3, come on, sing it. Hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back coming around the way. Seem like everywhere I see, the less I know. I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back coming around the way. Seem like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you, baby girl. I love you, I love you. Kids, I want to see you all jumping. Come on. Hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back coming around the way. Seem like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you, baby girl. I love you, I love you, I love you. Put your hands together. I love you, I love you, I love you. Let me hear. I love you, I love you, I love you. Everybody now, I love you. Sound good on your feet. I love you, I love you. Everybody on your feet now. I love you, I love you, I love you. This is the last time. I want to see everybody in here jumping. Say, hey, I'll be gone today. I'll be back coming around the way. Seem like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. Say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back coming around the way. Seem like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you. Google, give it up for these kids up here. Give it up for Jay Boogie on the guitar. Give it up for all the people here at Google who take care of all the kids at Google. love you. I'm Michael. Thanks for having me here today. Give it up for Jay Boogie one more time. Thanks, y'all.